Happening now, a fifth person has now died following a mass shooting in Louisville. This morning, what we know about the victims and the people still fighting for their lives in the hospital.
Also happening now, the fight over abortion pills. The Justice Department appealing a ruling blocking access to the drug. We'll break down the next steps in the case and what it means for Americans trying to access abortion pills.
Plus, concerns that AI is going too far. AI is now being used to narrate audiobooks using a dead man's voice. We'll show you how this technology works and the ethical concerns it brings up. Good morning, I'm Ellison Barber.
And I'm Zinklea Samoa. Thanks for starting your day with us. Joe and Savannah are on assignment. We'll get to those big stories in just a few minutes, but we want to begin this hour with the latest on that mass shooting in Louisville. This morning, the Kentucky community is grieving the loss of 5 people killed when a gunman opened fire inside a bank downtown. Police say the shooter was an employee of the bank who live streamed yesterday's incident on social media. He was then killed in a shootout with police. Louisville's mayor condemned the attack in an emotionally charged press conference.
Let's be clear about what this was. This was an evil act of targeted violence. I'm a survivor of a workplace shooting. To the people who survived, whether you were physically hurt or not, I know that you're hurting too. We are here for you as well.
NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky joins us now from Louisville. Morgan, good morning. Unfortunately, another act of gun violence, another dark day for America. So can you first just tell us how this incident unfolded and the latest information we're getting from authorities?
Yeah, Zinklea, a tough morning for so many here in Louisville. This is Old National Bank, where authorities say that gunman opened fire around 8:30 yesterday morning when he walked inside and began shooting with what witnesses described as a long rifle. Authorities have since described that as an AR-15 style rifle. We do know that as of right now, there is much more to come. We anticipate hearing from authorities from a press conference here in just a few hours, but we do know that upon entering, there was at least some portion of this horrific attack that was live streamed on social media. And according to audio recordings we've been able to obtain, this gunman, 25-year-old Connor Sturgeon, contacted a friend and said he was feeling suicidal and who wanted to kill everyone inside the bank. When this hail of gunfire ended, Zinklea, 5 people were killed. Police engaged that gunman and killed him here at the scene. I can tell you that it has sent out just resounding shockwaves throughout this entire town here. There has been no official motive that's been released right now, but we do know authorities conducted a search warrant at a home that we believe to belong to the shooter. No word, though, on what, if any, evidence they've recovered.
Really disturbing details, Morgan. And I know in addition to hearing from the mayor, we saw Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear deliver a really emotional tribute to the victims, some of whom he actually knew personally. Can you tell us a bit more about the victims and their relationship to the governor as well as the community?
Of course. And now those 4 victims mentioned yesterday, unfortunately, now have a 5th victim overnight. And I'd like to share their names with you here. They've since been identified as Tommy Elliott, Jim Tutt, Josh Barrick, Juliana Farmer, and late yesterday, Deanna Eckert. Tommy Elliott, in particular, was important to Governor Beshear because he had these words to say about his relationship with that 63-year-old colleague here in the Louisville community. Take a listen.
Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad. It's one of the people I talk to most in the world, and very rarely were we talking about my job. He was an incredible friend.
And also among the injured, of which there were 9 people taken to area hospitals. One of them is 26-year-old officer Nicholas Wilt. We were told that he sustained heavy injuries to his head, had to undergo emergency brain surgery, and is currently in critical but stable condition. Zinklea, he was sworn into the department barely 2 weeks ago.
Hoping those injured heal so fast. Morgan Chesky, thank you so much. And turning now to new charges being brought against the mother of the 6-year-old who shot his school teacher in Virginia earlier this year. A grand jury indicted 26-year-old Deja Taylor on one felony charge of child neglect and a misdemeanor charge of child endangerment involving a loaded weapon. The family lawyer says Taylor will surrender to police later this week. Prosecutors are also looking into whether a grand jury can be convened to investigate security issues at the school. More charges could be introduced at the end of that investigation. The 6-year-old boy will not face any other charges. And there's another legal battle unfolding in the West after 2 federal judges issued opposing rulings on the future of abortion pills in the United States.
Yeah, so this has been confusing. On Friday, a judge in Texas halted the use of the commonly prescribed abortion pill mifepristone. But just 20 minutes later, a judge in a different state, Washington state, ruled the pill should remain available in 17 states and the District of Columbia. The Department of Justice immediately filed an appeal on the Texas ruling, and the plaintiffs in that case have until tonight to respond.
So to help us understand this all, NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba joins us. Good morning, Monica. So first off, what position is the Department of Justice in here? How are they approaching these contradictory abortion pill orders, and what can we expect to see next?
You're absolutely right that this has caused a lot of chaos and confusion here, Zincle and Ellison. And that's why the Department of Justice had been preparing for this legal outcome for weeks, bracing for a worst possible case scenario, in their words. But this Texas judge stopped short of a nationwide ban. And then you had this contradictory ruling, as you just laid out. So now things get a little bit murky. And that is why the DOJ did file that intent to appeal. They're in the process of doing that. And that is now going to go to the Fifth Circuit, which leans conservative and which we really just don't know how long they're going to take to make a decision on this. So the big question mark now is what will happen between now and Saturday, when the Texas order could go into effect. But if there's a stay, or otherwise known as a pause, put on all of this, that could really slow things down until this case can be properly heard. And in the meantime, the DOJ could still potentially appeal to the Supreme Court if they want the high court to weigh in the meantime, while going on this other track of trying to get it blocked at the Fifth Circuit level. But the very clear thing that the administration wants to make sure women who may need this medication know is that in the short term, for now, it is still available, and we'll see whether it will still be available. But if things are paused, that means they would remain as they are now, which is that this medication can be sold, again, one that the FDA has deemed safe and effective since the year 2000.
So, Monica, several Democrats have called on President Biden to essentially ignore the ruling out of Texas. Has the Biden administration directly responded to that request? And have you heard anything to indicate that they might do something more than simply file an appeal?
So this really became a major issue in the last 24, 48 hours because the Health and Human Services Secretary, Javier Becerra, actually went out on TV and said everything is on the table, and was sort of echoing some of those comments Democrats had made about potentially ignoring this. Then the White House came out yesterday, completely clarified and walked that back and said, no, we intend to follow legal orders that would send a not great precedent to say we're not going to follow in on these binding orders. And so they are going to respect it. And what they've said and pledged to do is fight this in the court. They are prepared, they say, for a drawn out legal battle. This really could take weeks, months, even up to years. And that is why they say they're invested from that perspective. And ultimately, the White House says they feel confident, though we have to remember this is a conservative leaning Supreme Court, if that is where this ends up. Again, Ellison and Zincle.
Important analysis. Monica Alba, thanks for breaking it down.
One of the so-called Tennessee Three is back in office this morning. Recently ousted State Representative Justin Jones was unanimously voted back into his position yesterday. This new development coming just days after he and another lawmaker were expelled for leading gun law protests on the House floor. NBC News correspondent Katie Beck joins us now from Nashville, Tennessee. Katie, good morning. Walk us through what this process was like for Representative Jones to get back into office.
Yeah, good morning, Ellison. It was an emotionally charged day that started with the Nashville City Council. There, hundreds gathered to see their unanimous vote, sending him back to the State House. Then those crowds actually traveled from City Hall here to the Tennessee State Capitol, where they entered the chambers, some staying outside, celebrating the decision to reinstate Jones. And Jones feeling very hopeful about the fact that he's gotten his seat back, even if for an interim period of time. Here's what it sounded like inside. A lot of excitement.
Votes are in. Mr. Clerk, close the machines. Take the vote. Ayes 36, no abstentions. All right, so we can keep moving. Justin Jones has been elected as the interim successor for the vacant seat of Tennessee House District 52.
A very triumphant Jones there continued celebrating, making remarks outside of the state capitol, saying that the people had spoken, that he felt a great deal of relief to be getting his seat back. Obviously, that second representative still has a ways to go before that decision is made.
Yeah, Katie, walk us through what that might look like. The other representative who was also ousted, Justin Pearson, are we going to see something similar take place with him?
Yeah, Justin Pearson was actually here yesterday in support of Jones and making comments about gun control measures and basically what had happened with democracy on the floor, and feeling some relief also that his colleague had been reinstated. His fate will be decided by the Shelby County Commission tomorrow. That commission will make a similar choice as to whether or not they want to vote him back. But both of these positions are basically interim, temporary, and both of these representatives, if considering that Pearson, if he is to be reinstated, he will also face a special election in coming months to sort of permanently solidify that seat. Right now, it is just the interim basis that they both, if they're reinstated, both of them will hold those. But yeah, we are waiting tomorrow to see what the Shelby County Commission in Memphis will do on that front.
A lot to watch. Katie Beck, thank you so much.
Now to the latest on the investigations into former President Trump. Trump now trying to block his former vice president, Mike Pence, from testifying in the special counsel case. For more on this, we're joined by legal analyst Angela Sandella. Angela, good morning. So first, does Trump have a legal argument to block Mike Pence from testifying?
I certainly don't think so. We assume that the order here is going to be regarding executive privilege, as Trump has attempted to assert many times before. However, since Watergate, it's been made pretty clear that executive privilege, while it does exist, ends where criminal probes begin. Because this is a criminal probe, we don't expect his argument of executive privilege to stand, as it has failed many times before for President Trump.
And Angela, I know if he does testify, a source familiar with the matter told NBC last week it wasn't clear when he would actually appear before the grand jury in Washington, D.C. So what is a likely timeline for that? And more importantly, what are they hoping to learn from him?
Yes, so grand jury proceedings are secret, so we never get a heads up precisely of when someone will testify, or even if last minute they're actually not testifying. But what we expect is for the interrogations to surround whether or not Trump ordered Pence on January 6th to delay the certification of Biden's presidency. So that is what this probe regarding former Vice President Pence surrounds. And he is truly the only person who could answer these questions, which is why he is going to be brought into these grand jury proceedings.
And Angela, there's a reality that Pence could be blocked from having to give testimony. If that happens, where does the special counsel go?
I think that that reality is very slim. It appears here that he will testify. There is possibility that they could make his parameters smaller and narrow them and reduce what he's allowed to testify about. But he will be testifying, I expect.
All right. Well, we'll be watching, Angela. Thank you so much.
Turning now to the end of an era, as President Biden signed a bill Monday ending the COVID-19 national emergency. According to the White House, this order will not impact a separate public health emergency that's set to end on May 11th. The bill was passed by the Senate in a bipartisan 68-23 vote at the end of March. The COVID national emergency was first declared back in March of 2020.
Now let's turn to your morning news now weather forecast.
Yeah, meteorologist Angie Lassman joins us now with more. And Angie, spring is going to feel more like summer?
Yeah, did we just skip over winter and now we're skipping over spring? It basically feels like it, especially if you look into places like Omaha, which are going to hit 85 degrees today, guys. This is going to be the trend through really the end of the work week and even into the weekend. Really warm air is in place, and that means 10, 15, 20, even 30 degrees above normal for a lot of places across the country. So let's get you some of those highs today. 84 degrees in Denver. You're going to be running 24 degrees above normal. 79 for Wichita. Detroit, you'll hit 75 degrees today. It'll feel great there. And that spreads into parts of the Northeast as well. By later today, 78 degrees in Washington, D.C. By tomorrow, Buffalo, you'll be into the mid-60s. Cincinnati hits 77 degrees. 80s for both Kansas City and St. Louis. And Denver still hangs out into the low 80s tomorrow at 83 degrees for the high. And it is not over after tomorrow. We take this right into the end of the work week and into the weekend. And places like New York could see potentially some record-breaking highs by the time we get to Friday, a high of 85 degrees. Washington, D.C. ends up at 87 on Thursday and 85 by Friday. We do kind of moderate out a little bit by the time we get into Saturday in a lot of these places. Boston, you'll get back to the mid-60s. But even still, it's going to feel pretty nice with plenty of places. Up to 12 states going to see some of these record highs being broken between now and the weekend. That comes with a couple problems, though. Not just the nice, comfortable conditions, but it also leaves us with the potential for some flooding. Over the next 48 hours, we're going to watch for some rapid snowmelt. You can see where some of these flood watches are in place. This is going to be something we'll have to watch for flooding concerns as that snow melts quickly, since our temperatures are so warm. So we'll keep an eye on that. Also keeping an eye on the potential for some fire conditions. So we have that in parts of the Midwest, parts of the Northeast, including New York and Boston, and even out west, Sioux City and Colorado Springs included in these fire alerts because our humidities are low, as well as our winds are elevated. So when you combine those two kind of things, makes it a little iffy for fire, and especially for fires rapidly spreading. So just be mindful of that. 37 million people are under those alerts for now. Now we go to the south, and specifically South Florida, where we're soggy. We've seen ample amounts of rain over the past day or so, and there's more on the way. You can see just how unsettled it is there. Today is going to be a couple periods of this heavy rain working through, but we also have a low pressure system that's developing in parts of the Gulf of Mexico. That over the next couple of days is going to be continuing to transport moisture onshore. We'll see most of that for parts of southern Louisiana through the day today, but you can see it kind of starts to spread from the Florida Peninsula, places like Tampa, and eventually into the Panhandle in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and even the rest of the Southeast is going to get in on some of this action here as we get into Thursday and specifically Friday. So we'll watch for some flooding concerns with anywhere from 5 to 8 inches possible in some of the highest amounts, guys.
All right.
Angie Lassman, a lot to watch. Hoping people stay safe, especially with those fire alerts.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Now to more from our AI Revolution series, where we're keeping you up to date on the latest in artificial intelligence.
Actor Edward Herrmann, known for his role in Gilmore Girls, passed away about 9 years ago. But thanks to AI, he is still making his mark, this time on the audiobook world. NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo has the story.
The next frontier for AI audiobook narration.
Be the sound of the world with DeepSen AI.
Meaning celebrities can now offer their voice services from beyond the grave. The Wall Street Journal reporting companies like DeepZen are taking real voices of actors and narrators and using AI to create new content with synthetic voices that sound like the real thing.
I'm not trying to replace your father.
Among DeepZen's offerings, actor Edward Herrmann from shows like The Gilmore Girls.
I think we're both up to the challenge. Shall we?
Here, Edward is narrating an audiobook on Thomas Jefferson.
Disorder, which Jefferson hated, threatened harmony, which he loved.
And here is Edward's synthetic voice, created by DeepZen, narrating that same audiobook.
Disorder, which Jefferson hated, threatened harmony, which he loved.
That's despite the prolific actor's death in 2014. DeepZen was able to use old recordings of his voice with the permission from his family to voice more books like this.
Captain Hidalgo swiveled in his chair.
What if we license his voice and bring his voice back to life and use it for different projects, starting with like audiobooks, dubbing, and kind of like bring his legacy back to life.
It's an advancement that professional narrator Tanya Eby says is already having an impact.
I'm angry. I think, honestly, it's a real threat. 5 years ago, it was a thing of the future. And then the future suddenly happened within like the last 6 months. And it's been really crazy. My work is down about 50%. And I've been in the business for 20 years.
Just this year, Apple launched Apple Books Digital Narration, saying Apple Books Digital Narration makes the creation of audiobooks more accessible to all.
There was something achingly familiar about her.
Some narrators making the case that it's just not the same.
I've tried listening to AI. I am trying to be open to technology and like go with it. And what happens is for the first few minutes, it sounds right. And then you notice that your mind starts drifting. So whatever that magical quality of storytelling with a human telling a story to another human is lost with computers.
But the tech is improving so much, so quickly. The technology uses previous recordings of the voice actor to guess how that person would speak. In fact, this sentence was not recorded by me, but an AI engine trained on my voice. And it's so easy to produce. We used a site that allowed us to upload only about a minute of my voice reading a previous story, paste in the script that we wrote, generate the audio, and you have my AI recording in just a few minutes.
AI is going to play a key role, expanding the content, making it available to the masses if it is used in the right way.
Thanks to Stephen Romo for that story. NBC News spoke to the company who says they actually have controls that can imitate emotions. These changes can make the voice sound even more authentic, they say, making it feel like Herman is still here with us.
So interesting how fast this technology is developing.
Yes, a lot to unpack there.
Yes, and we'll keep digging into it. But coming up, new developments this morning about the Wall Street Journal reporter arrested in Russia. The U.S. has now declared him wrongfully detained. We'll explain what this means and how it could help the U.S. bring him home next.
Plus, therapy on TikTok. More influencers are creating trends geared towards improving mental health, but are they actually effective? We'll bring that question to a therapist later this hour. Stay with us. You're watching Morning News Now.
We're back now with the latest on Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich. The journalist was arrested in Russia last month on allegations of espionage, charges the paper denies. Yesterday, the State Department announced it was designated Gershkovich as wrongfully detained. NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter joins us now with the very latest. Molly, good morning. So first, what does the distinction actually mean, and why is it significant that the State Department has made this designation?
Yeah, this is a big deal and generally seen as a very positive development, in a very dire situation for Evan's case, for his family. So the wrongfully detained determination genuinely unlocks more government resources. So it also says that really the U.S. government sees him as the equivalent of a political hostage. It reflects the belief that the charges were fabricated, something that we heard from Secretary of State Tony Blinken last week before this determination was made. But his case now literally shifts department in the State Department. It now goes to the Office of the Presidential Envoy for Hostage Affairs, which is focused on negotiating the release of hostages. But take a listen to what the State Department spokesperson said yesterday when they were announcing this.
What I can say is that we are still continuing to seek consular access. At this point, it is a violation of Russia's obligations under our consular convention and a violation against international law. We have stressed the need for the Russian government to provide this access as soon as possible.
So with this new distinction, Zinkley, the State Department also has the authority to basically use more levers and exert more pressure on Moscow, fight for regular consular access, as you just heard from the State Department spokesperson. That is something that Evan Gershkovich has not received yet. Excuse me.
And Molly, of course, the paper has been rallying around him. What's been their response now to this move by the State Department?
Yeah, very welcome, I think. When you read the Wall Street Journal's coverage this morning, of course, they have been covering the case exhaustively. And reading the Journal's coverage this morning, the report actually said that typically, according to officials, the speed of the designation usually could take months because it's kind of trapped behind a lot of red tape and a lot of bureaucracy. This designation was reached at an incredibly unprecedented speed, according to the Journal. Now, typically, it comes after the detainee is able to meet with American consular offices. We know that this has not happened yet, but they have put out another statement. I'll just read read a little bit of it for you, Sinclair. This distinction will unlock additional resources and attention at the highest levels of the U.S. government in securing his release. We are doing everything in our power to support Evan and his family, and will continue working with the State Department and other relevant U.S. officials to push for his release. And look, the Wall Street Journal has been incredibly outspoken about this, incredibly supportive in pushing the State Department to be as outspoken and as up ahead as they possibly can.
And Molly, briefly here, I know there's another American detained, Paul Whelan, in Russia. We understand he actually managed to call home for the first time in 12 days. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we received a brief statement from his family talking about that phone call. Very rare, according to his family, that he has not been able to call home in that the last 12 days. It's a regular thing that Paul Whelan has been able to do since his imprisonment. A couple of interesting things in that statement. It talks about actually the Russian MOD. We know this, Sinclair, from our reporting in Ukraine. The Russian MOD has been recruiting prisoners. So apparently he spoke about that they were actually recruiting from the prison that Paul is being held in. The other thing that was mentioned is that Paul seems to be aware of Evan's case. They're not sure exactly whether that's from Russian news reports, whether that's from a call he had with the U.S. Embassy. And of course, from his family's perspective, there's a lot of nervousness that if there is a prisoner exchange, if there's so much kind of high profile pressure on Evan's case, you know, Paul's family is obviously very worried that he might be left behind again.
Of course, we're still thinking of Paul. Molly, thank you so much for this. Now, to the latest on the fallout following the leak of dozens of classified documents.
Yeah, there's now growing concern about whether U.S. intelligence sources that appeared on social media sites have been compromised.
Here's NBC News Chief Foreign Affairs correspondent Andrea Mitchell with more.
The leaked documents include sensitive and top-secret intelligence about U.S. adversaries and allies, potentially jeopardizing U.S. spies in hostile countries and electronic surveillance.
We don't know who's responsible for this, and we don't know if they have more that they intend to post.
The documents show Ukraine running low on ammunition and using U.S. intelligence to strike a Russian target. Russia's military struggling in Ukraine. South Korea reluctant to help the U.S. supply artillery to Ukraine.
Is the worst damage the Russian sources and methods behind the inside information from Russia on the defense ministry?
I think the greatest concern is that some of our sources, both human as well as technical collection systems, could be compromised as a result of this.
Another document has the leaders of Israel's intelligence service, the Mossad, backing anti-government protests, though Israel denies it.
The senior director of the Mossad and our senior officials in the Mossad were not involved in any way.
The stolen intelligence first showing up on a chat server for the Minecraft video game, according to open-source intelligence agency Bellingcat, before appearing on other sites. Slides showing conflicting Russian casualties in Ukraine indicate some of the documents could have been doctored, but officials believe most are real.
That was Andrea Mitchell reporting. The Justice Department says it is currently investigating to try and figure out the source of those leaks. Today, President Biden heads to Northern Ireland to mark the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, which essentially brought an end to decades of violent conflicts there. NBC News White House correspondent Mike Mimily joins us now from Belfast with more. Good morning, Mike. President Biden is scheduled to arrive later today. Do we know what is on his agenda, what cities he will visit?
Well, Ellison, this is the 12th foreign trip since President Biden took office, and as with the 11 before it, there'll be a range of official engagements. After he lands here in Belfast, we expect he'll meet with the British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. He'll also deliver a major speech marking that 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Accord, an important diplomatic breakthrough, but one that's been under strain since the UK's vote to exit the European Union. From there, he'll go on to Ireland, where on Thursday he'll meet with Ireland's President, Prime Minister. He'll speak to the Irish Parliament, as well as be the guest of honor at a state banquet. But unlike those 11 previous foreign trips, this one is going to be uniquely personal and just a bit political for the president as well. He's going to be visiting County Louth, where he'll meet some of the Finnegans. Those are some of his relatives on one side of the family. Then he'll go on to County Mayo and meet with the Blewitts in Ballina. That's where he'll spend some time with a distant relative of his there, and also give a major speech about the Irish-American experience and the warm ties between the U.S. and Ireland over the years. This is really something that is uniquely Joe Biden. His Irishness has been a major part of his political identity, and it's one that's going to be really on display here during the entire visit.
Mike, there had been some security concerns, questions ahead of the president's arrival to Northern Ireland. Can you walk us through why there was concern there, and what does the security situation look like now?
So the Good Friday Accord was really a major diplomatic breakthrough. And as they're marking the 25th anniversary, though, there have been some strains, as I mentioned, because of Brexit. There was also a murder attempt on a law enforcement officer about a month ago that has really raised anew fears of potential clashes in the sectarian way that we've seen throughout the history of Northern Ireland. Officials here have stressed and really made an effort, even though Northern Ireland's devolved government is not meeting as part of the diplomatic stress from Brexit here. There has been an effort, a show of unity among the different parties here to try to underscore, even as there have been some marches and some displays from the new IRA here, that there is still support for the Northern Ireland Accord.
And Mike, last thing before I let you go, President Biden kind of maybe made an announcement that wasn't really an announcement to Al Roker on live TV yesterday, saying they haven't announced that he was going to run for re-election, but he is going to run for re-election. Any chance this trip fits into a possible campaign strategy looking ahead?
Well, I've heard from a number of officials as we wait and wait and wait for President Biden to make his re-election plans official that they do expect he'll come back from Ireland feeling a bit renewed and perhaps ready to make that declaration. But there was an important shift in language from President Biden as he spoke to Al Roker yesterday. For a long time, he's been saying he's intending to seek a second term. But yesterday, he changed it. He said he's planning to run for a second term. We've seen, according to multiple sources, the level of planning behind the scenes really ramping up. They have been speaking and near the finish line with bringing on board a number of senior officials to work with the campaign. But there are also a lot of reasons Biden is delaying that decision, and we may be waiting at least a few more weeks longer, Allison.
All right, we shall see. Mike Mimily, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
More international news now. The U.S. and the Philippines have launched their largest joint combat exercise in decades.
NBC News Iran Bureau Chief and correspondent Ali Arouzi joins us now for more on this and other international news. Ali, good morning.
Good morning, guys. That's right. The United States and Philippines are holding their largest ever joint military drills a day after China concluded large-scale exercises around Taiwan in response to the island's leader meeting the U.S. House Speaker last week. Washington has criticized China's display of firepower as disproportionate. The joint military operation will see an execution of a drill blowing up a mock target warship in the South China Sea, a move that could anger Beijing. Facing dire polls and growing public anger on several fronts, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the reinstatement of Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, whom he fired 2 weeks ago for publicly calling for a freeze to plans to overhaul the judicial system. The decision to fire him set off a chain of spontaneous mass protests and a general strike, ultimately forcing Netanyahu to suspend his divisive plan to overhaul the legal system. And finally, a total of 86 tortoises bred in captivity as part of a captive breeding program that closed in 2021 were released into their natural habitat in Ecuador's Galapagos archipelago, with another 250 due to be released soon. Part of this program is the famous male tortoise Diego, who was returned to his native Galapagos Islands from the San Diego Zoo. It's estimated that 40% of the repatriated tortoises are his descendants. Clearly, Diego had been a very busy boy while in captivity.
To say the least. All right.
To say the least. Ali Arouzi, thank you so much.
Coming up, from the therapist office to TikTok, influencers are using so-called therapy speak to promote personal boundaries. We'll tell you why some critics are calling that strategy selfish.
And the special bond between two brothers as they both battle a rare heart condition. You're watching Morning News Now.
We are back now with our weekly mental health check-in, and today we're tackling some social media buzzwords.
That's right. From the use of therapy speak to working on your inner child, we have all the tips to properly tackle these online trends.
Let's bring in licensed marriage and family therapist Dr. George James for more on these mental health headlines. Dr. James, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us. Let's start with the impact of this quote-unquote therapy speak. TikTok influencers are using language that is often found in therapy in order to create boundaries in personal relationships, but some people say this actually might cause more harm than good. What is going on here, and why would that be a bad thing?
Good morning. First of all, I think it's great that so many people are learning to talk about themselves through therapy language. But I think for a lot of people, sometimes they're saying these words, but are not actually doing the work. They haven't maybe actually said, what does that really mean for me to take care of myself? And so sometimes I'm an advocate for boundaries and taking care of yourself, but actually doing the work, reaching out to the other person so that you can work it out and tolerate those difficult emotions.
That's really important. And I know another major buzz phrase on social media, inner child work. Of course, it's important. But Dr. James, can you first tell us, what does it actually mean to work on your inner child so that we're crystal clear on it? But then how does it impact our view of the world? And are there practices we can follow to make sure we actually approach inner child work correctly?
You know, for many of us, we might have had an injury that happened in our early childhood. And that injury now shapes how we see life, how we engage with other people. And so sometimes we are maybe hurt or harmed at that point, right? And so it can impact how we show up and what we say. It can also make us feel like we're being a victim, and can say how we want to dictate our relationships with other people. First, it's to acknowledge that injury, do the work, and then notice that it is shaping your life, and then you can make some changes and adjustments for people or yourself.
Doctor, we've all heard of this idea of flight or fight, but there's actually a third option that we're looking at this morning, and that's freeze. Explain to us what would trigger a freeze response, and if you're someone experiencing that and need to not be experiencing it, how can you overcome it?
You know, actually, freeze happens quite often. We hear about fight or flight, which is like a reaction within our body and even in how we show up. But freeze happens often. So freeze is actually, we're not going away or we're not fighting. We're kind of stuck. It's like in the movies when you see somebody in the middle of the street and you just want them to do something, but they can't go left or right. And so some of that is that we're overwhelmed and our body shuts down. And this is a place where we need to recognize we're in freeze. Then we need to be able to kind of reconnect with ourselves and then find options to move forward. And sometimes we don't even recognize, like procrastination or not getting things done. We might be in freeze.
All right, turn the freeze into processing.
Yeah, healthy coping mechanisms are
Very
really
good
important.
advice.
Dr. George James, thank you so much. And turning now to a story of two brothers. They share a special bond as both are battling a rare congenital heart defect. As NBC News medical fellow Dr. Akshay Sayal tells us, they're leaning on each other as they go through treatment. Here's their story.
Function in both ventricles is good, and there's no more of the ventricular septal defect.
Finley Huffman just had heart surgery 5 weeks ago, but egged on by his older brother Theo, you'd never know it. A life like this was never a given for Theo or Finley. When 3-year-old Theo was born in March 2020, he appeared healthy at first.
We'd just gone through all the discharge procedures, all the tests, and
I mean, we were ready to go. And there's a nurse, and we don't know who she is because we've never seen her again. You know, she said, you know, before you go, I hear a little bit of raspiness in his breathing.
Resulting tests leading NYU Langone heart doctors to a chilling discovery. Theo had a congenital heart condition called total anomalous pulmonary venous return, or TAPVR. TAPVR is rare, impacting 1 in nearly 8,000 newborns per year, where the body circulates oxygenated blood back to the wrong side of the heart. It requires open heart surgery to fix and is deadly if left untreated.
We stopped the heart. I opened the chambers, and then I basically was able to reroute these veins into the right chambers.
With Theo rapidly recovering in 2021, the Huffmans getting exciting news. They were pregnant again, but that excitement turning to concern when an echocardiogram revealed another congenital heart defect in their developing baby, Finley.
We had a little cry one day and said, we can't make hearts.
we can't make hearts,
But,
Finley had multiple heart defects, including a narrowing of the largest blood vessel in the body and what's called a VSD, or a hole in the heart. Finley's treatment requiring surgery spanning about 18 months and a constant focus on making sure Finley got enough nourishment to be ready for the second procedure.
He wasn't keeping down food. He was throwing up all the time. He was losing weight.
But older brother Theo offering constant moral support at home.
Happy Halloween! He has definitely been a key motivator for Finn. I think he's really helped. He was really sweet when Finn used to have feeding problems sometimes. He'd come and help, clear up, or he'd come and sing him Twinkle Star when he's falling asleep.
Now healthy, the two brothers still doing everything together, dressing up as superheroes, exploring, and even coming in together for their routine checkups. The boys cherishing these sibling moments as their two special hearts have formed an even more special bond.
And that beautiful story comes just a day after National Siblings Day. A good reminder to hold those you love very close. Our thanks to Dr. Akshay Sayal for that report.
And coming up, she's making history, or rather, herstory.
We'd love to see that when we return here on Morning News. Now, we'll talk to one of the 4 women leading some of the world's top universities about how she got there, plus her message to other women who are looking to lead. Welcome back. We've got some financial news now. After taking some major hits, Bitcoin is back and on the rise.
CNBC Markets reporter Pippa Stevens joins us now for more on this and more money news you need to know this morning. Good morning, Pippa.
Good morning. Well, Bitcoin topping $30,000 for the first time since last June. Some industry bulls have been touting the digital asset as a potential safe haven like gold, as recession fears reignited following the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and Credit Suisse last month. Now, Bitcoin is still down more than 50% from its all-time high, above $57,000 set in November 2021. Meantime, many Americans aren't sold yet on going electric. A new AP poll shows only 19% of adults say it's very or extremely likely they'll get an EV as their next car. The biggest reasons for their wariness: high prices and the availability of charging stations. New electric vehicles now cost an average of more than $58,000, a price beyond the reach of many households. Under proposed government rules, several models will only be eligible for half of a $7,500 federal tax credit. And Netflix is extending the Stranger Things universe, announcing a new animated series. There aren't many details yet, such as the title or release date. Stranger Things debuted in 2016 and became the most watched English language series on Netflix. The company previously said a spin-off series is in the works, and a prequel stage play will debut in London's West End in November. This is the perfect chance for me to actually watch it. I still have not.
Oh my gosh, I am offended. You've got to watch it, Pippa.
I think we've collectively offended
Succession. Yeah.
You haven't seen it either, is it, Clay? All right, we'll have a watch party.
Deal.
Okay.
Pippa Stevens, thank you so much.
All right, so according to this year's Times Higher Education World University Rankings, 4 of the 5 top schools in the world will soon be led by women.
That's right. It's the largest number of women to lead at elite universities ever. And we're thrilled to be joined by one of those leaders, Vice Chancellor Irene Tracy of the UK's University of Oxford. Vice Chancellor, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here.
Our pleasure.
Truly our honor.
Yes.
And I want to start with your school, because it's topping the list of all of these schools, ahead of some small universities people may have heard of: Harvard, Cambridge, Stanford, MIT. So what does it mean for you to be at the head of this list and really at the helm?
Well, it's great. Obviously, I'm honoured to be at the helm of it, and all kudos to my successor, who did a fantastic job for the past 7 years. I only took over in January, and it means a lot to be the best. I mean, for our academics who are doing the research, the frontline discovery work, and our students who are, of course, doing the learning and the teaching and going out into the world to make their contributions, they want to be part of something excellent. So although you shouldn't get too hung up on the rankings, we all like to be competitive. We're all competitive, and we all like to be number one. So it really is great to be part of that excellence. And it also, frankly, does help retain, the best of the best, and it helps recruit the best of the best, which is what we want to be if we're going to do all the groundbreaking research and the great teaching.
And you mentioned you're still relatively new in this role since January, but there are some people on this list. Harvard is going to be, they're equally new, right?
Yep.
Can you take us back to your first couple first days, first weeks on the job, and what that was like for you, and what advice you have for someone who is maybe even newer than you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been an academic in Oxford all my career, so apart from a couple of years at Harvard, so I have spent time over here, and obviously it's a great school. And, you know, so I knew very much what I was walking into, so it wasn't a surprise to me, but I have to say I've really enjoyed the job. I'm sort of 4 months in, and it's been a lot more enjoyable than I expected in terms of the breadth and the depth of what it is that you're dealing with. And you know, part of, you know, the challenge will be to maintain that, you know, world-leading position and to be able to, you know, again, contribute to supporting all people's research aspirations and to the students being taught really well. So the first, you know, few months have been nothing unsurprising, I'd say. And, you know, in terms of advice for others, I just say throw yourself into it. Don't let these jobs overwhelm you. You know, it's a real privilege and honour to be, you know, in one of these positions where you can contribute hugely to society. And that's how we view our academic institutions. You know, they're the engine room of what's going to be the new discoveries and the new companies and the new spin-outs, and they're, of course, sending out that, what I call intellectual capital, through our students out into the world to do great jobs, like yourselves in journalism. So it's a real privilege to be in these jobs, and my advice is just to sort of embrace it and to make sure you've got a really great leadership team around you and to, you know, take a breath and really just be confident that you've got this.
And I mean, you're at the helm of this leadership team. Your identity is significant. You are a woman, and I know higher ed is sort of notoriously old-fashioned, can be a little slow, bureaucratic. So what is the significance of you as a woman in this space? How has that been for you? Why do you think it's important?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a sort of timing now. I mean, I think the reason the article came out was because, you know, it is notable that 4 of the 5 are now women, and I'm really looking forward to getting to meet them, and I'm sure that we'll create a sort of support group amongst each other. And so looking forward to welcoming Deborah over to the UK. You know, she takes on Cambridge. And, you know, that... the pipeline, I guess, you know, I mean, I think we're just at a place where, you know, I'm in my mid-50s, you know, there's half of our departments, say, in Oxford are now headed by women. So we've got a pipeline of women coming through. They're seeing the visibility of women like myself, you know, either formerly running a department or one of the colleges in Oxford and now in this Vice-Chancellor role. And I think that makes a huge difference. You know, you're very visible, you know, here yourselves, and that is inspiring. And I think quite late in my career, I recognised how important it was to be that visible role model because it does make a difference. It does, I think, facilitate in girls at school to think, well, I can do this. Or if you want to juggle, you know, your academic career, you know, maybe with other personal things like a family, they can see that visibility that you've done it, and that then gives them that sort of confidence to go forward. So I think what we're seeing now is this turning point where the pipeline is more diverse, and that naturally is feeding into then these leadership positions. And once it's there, my experience is that success breeds success, and then you're sort of off and running at that point, I hope, anyway.
What's your advice for young women who are maybe in a space where they're trying to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their lives? Did you know that this was going to be your future?
I did not know. I mean, that's one thing I always say to, you know, when I'm mentoring people is, you know, a couple of key things. You know, one is just put yourself out there and try different things. You're not going to know what your real, you know, vocation is and maybe what your passion is unless you try different things. So put yourself out there, really try new experiences, be willing to sort of get outside of your comfort zone, because that's how you're going to discover what might be your thing in terms of your career and your vocation. So that's sort of one key advice. And then, you know, in terms of sort of being a woman and being part of that sort of, you know, smaller group of women, again, there is this shift now, I think, in time where it's you know, that visibility of women in those leadership roles, you know, supports then that sort of expectation that this is possible. So I think, you know, a couple of factors, you know, for me in my sort of journey, seeing a few of the women that were in those leadership roles, seeing that things were possible, really did support, you know, my aspiration that this is possible. I never expected to be Vice-Chancellor. It was not a journey. So again, the other key thing I say to individuals is you see me and you think this is this path, I was on this magic template that was always going to take me there. I had no expectation, frankly, even a year ago, that I would be in this job. And so just being willing to be open to new experiences and to, you know, accept that life, you don't know where your journey's going to take you. So be open to those new experiences. And look at me, I never would have expected to have gone from undergraduate, you know, into
And
this
you're
position.
here now.
And I'm here now. That's
so good to see you and to just hear your story.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And coming up, the pickleball phenomenon.
America's fastest growing sport now has a home in New York's famed Central Park. So pick up a paddle. We will show you what all the hype is about. That's next on Morning News Now. All right, and finally, this hour, pickleball. Do you play?
Not yet.
Well, you should get on board because it is becoming the fastest growing sport in the nation, raking in millions of dollars and getting celebrity athletes like LeBron James and Tom Brady on board.
Oh, so here to tell us more is NBC News correspondent George Solis to show us New York City is now embracing the game in a very big way.
It sounds like tennis. They look like ping pong and kind of plays like badminton, but it's none of the above. This is pickleball. And pickleballers will tell you it's a sport you can really sink your teeth into, despite it having nothing to do with the food.
It was the most amazing, life-altering experience.
Pickleball popularity has exploded with an estimated more than 4.8 million players nationwide.
It's a great way just to get exercise. It's easier to learn than tennis.
While the origin of the name is up for debate, pickleball itself has been around since the 60s, with interest surging during the pandemic. Many setting up makeshift courts in this contest to 11 in driveways and parks. Even athletes like LeBron James and Tom Brady starting their own teams.
I'm coming to dominate the sport.
The sport projected to be worth $256 million by 2028. The pickleball phenomenon found Mary Cannon and Erica Desai, founders of City Pickle.
It's easy. You need a wiffle ball, a paddle, sneakers.
The duo is behind New York City's first pickleball club. This weekend, they celebrated the successful launch of this pickleballers' paradise at Central Park's historic Woolman Rink. 14 professional-grade courts.
We're just expanding the opportunity for people who've been curious about pickleball, haven't had the chance to play. Maybe they've seen it on TV, but they've never actually played it themselves.
For a fee, the pickleball proficient or curious can play or take lessons. I got a crash course. Learning the basics of serving, scoring, and some slang. Most notable, the non-volley zone, aka kitchen, and getting pickled or ending up scoreless.
It's fun. There's something silly, a little whimsical about it.
Part of what City Pickle would like to do is bring that joy and community of pickleball to people in urban areas. And so we're thrilled to be able to offer this opportunity to New Yorkers.
No longer in a pickle, with a new home to play ball. George Solis, NBC News.
That does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us. The news continues right now. Good morning. I'm Ellison Barber.
And I'm Zinclea Samoa. Joe and Savannah are on assignment. Right now on Morning News Now, chaos and carnage. Louisville becomes the latest American city dealing with the devastation of a mass shooting. Police say a man shot and killed 5 people and injured nearly a dozen others, all while live streaming part of the rampage.
Let's be clear about what this was. This was an evil act of targeted violence.
Now, as yet another city begins to pick up the pieces, we're learning more about the victims and what's becoming an all too familiar scene of gun violence in America. Pushing back, former President Donald Trump is fighting to block his former vice president from testifying in the special counsel's January 6th probe. The move comes after Mike Pence said he would not fight in order to testify about conversations he had leading up to the attack on the Capitol. We're digging into what's behind the legal strategy and what could be an unprecedented showdown. Reinstated just days after his expulsion, one Tennessee lawmaker is back at the State House. The Metro Nashville Council unanimously voting to reappoint Justin Jones, setting up another showdown. Why the fight to reclaim his seat is only just getting started. And artificial advantage, the quest to land that perfect job. Some job seekers are turning to AI to give themselves a leg up. But will that revamped resume really put you over the top? And what does it mean for the future of hiring? We're going one-on-one with an expert to take us through the shifting landscape. First, they come for the resumes, then they have AI anchors. We're in trouble.
Slippery slope. That's a really slippery slope. Makes me nervous.
We're going to dig into it, and it's good to see you, Ellison. We begin our coverage, though, this morning with the new developments in that deadly mass shooting in Kentucky.
Yeah, police say a 25-year-old shooter opened fire at Old National Bank in Louisville, killing 5 people and injuring 9. They say he was an employee at the bank who live-streamed the shooting on social media. The gunman was later killed in a shootout with police. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky has the latest from Kentucky.
Yeah, good morning. And there is a sense of sadness you can absolutely feel here in Louisville. The crime scene tape has just come down outside of Old National Bank, where a federal law enforcement official says this is now being investigated as an act of workplace violence. All from a 25-year-old gunman who was described as mentally disturbed and gave troubling warning signs before opening fire.
A quiet Monday morning in downtown Louisville, turning into a scene of chaos and carnage.
This was an evil act of targeted violence.
Police say 25-year-old Connor Sturgeon opened fire with a rifle at Old National Bank, where he was an employee.
I just hear really loud gunfire. I see glass just exploding.
Officials giving no more word on his motive, but did confirm the suspect was live streaming the massacre on social media. 911 dispatch audio recounting an ominous voicemail Sturgeon left for his friend.
Connor Sturgeon, 6'4", he's texted a friend, called a friend, left a voicemail. He's going to kill everyone at the bank, feeling suicidal.
A senior law enforcement official telling NBC News the suspect left a note, though its contents are unknown.
The suspect shot at officers. We then returned fire and stopped that threat.
The hail of gunfire taking the lives of 5 people. Tommy Elliott, Jim Tutt, Josh Barrick, Juliana Farmer, and late Monday, Deanna Eckert. The stunning loss turning personal for Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear.
We lost 4 children of God today, one of whom was one of my closest friends. Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad.
Crews rushed 9 more people to a nearby hospital for injuries, including 3 police officers who responded. Officer Nicholas Wilt was one of them, who police say ran towards the gunfire to save lives and was shot in the head. The 26-year-old undergoing emergency brain surgery and is currently in critical but stable condition.
Just graduated from the police academy on March 31st. I just swore him in.
Louisville's mayor knows his community's fear and anger all too well. He survived a shooting at his own campaign headquarters last year.
You've been there.
And I have. I learned firsthand that you have to find inner courage and strength that you may not have even known that you have had to keep moving forward.
We've learned that of those 9 people who were taken to area hospitals, some have already been released, but at least 2 remain in critical condition. One of those, of course, 26-year-old officer Nicholas Wilt. We know that his own brother has actually been following in his footsteps, is about halfway through Louisville's Police Academy program. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Morgan, thank you so much.
Turning now to the nation's capital, where President Biden made big news on the Today Show yesterday when he confirmed that he does plan to run for re-election next year. But the president also said he wasn't quite ready to make that formal campaign announcement just yet. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker joins us now with more. Kristen, good morning.
Hi, Zinkley. Good morning to you. President Biden was not mincing words when he spoke to Al here at the White House on Monday. But look, advisors tell us the president is really in no rush to make it official. Still, behind the scenes, preparations are ramping up. This morning, it's the strongest signal yet from President Biden that he's running for re-election.
I was just wondering, Mr. President, will you be taking part in the Easter egg rolls after 2024?
Well, I plan on at least 3 or 4 more Easter egg rolls.
At least 3 or 4 more?
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5?
maybe 6. What the hell?
Are you telling Al here on Today during the White House Easter egg roll he's all but made up his mind?
Help a brother out. Make some news for me.
I plan on running Al, but we're not prepared to announce it yet.
The president has long said he intends to run in 2024, though he's been in no rush to make it official. The new remarks come as top White House advisors are preparing to make final decisions on launching his campaign, according to multiple sources familiar with the discussions. Several considerations in the decision-making process include that no major Democratic challenger has emerged, despite the president's stagnant job approval ratings in the low 40s, that there's a major clash on the horizon with congressional Republicans over the nation's borrowing limit, and that former President Trump, who's running for the GOP nomination, has been indicted and is consuming the political spotlight. One longtime Biden advisor saying the delay also serves to preserve the right not to run. Still, could all of this be teeing up another epic clash between President Biden and former President Trump? Right now, Mr. Trump's strongest potential rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who is widely expected to run. But he's brushed off questions about a formal launch, while recently coming to Mr. Trump's defense and taking aim at the indictment he's facing in Manhattan.
We have the political left weaponizing the rule of law.
Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley has thrown her hat into the ring, too, with Mr. Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence moving toward his own White House bid in the coming weeks. So the big question, what about the timing? Well, all signs are pointing to a possible announcement in late spring, early summer, but that timeline could always shift. And just for context, guys, it's really not unusual for a sitting president to wait a little longer to jump in. Former President Trump announced in June, former President Obama was in April, and former President Bush made it official in May. Still, Mr. Biden has been traveling all around the country touting what he sees as his biggest achievement. So in the eyes of a lot of people, the campaign has already unofficially begun. Cincle.
2024, here we go. Kristen Welker, thank you so much.
Now to the latest on the investigation into former President Trump's alleged interference in the 2020 election.
Former Vice President Mike Pence has been subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury investigating the allegations. But according to a source familiar with the litigation, Trump is now seeking to block Pence from doing that.
For more on this, we're joined by NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos. Danny, good morning. This is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. On the one hand, you think former Vice President Mike Pence has a book. He wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal in November of last year, literally going through a timeline of, on this date, the president called me and said this about the election. One, is there anything that he could say in testimony that would be different than what's already in the public record? And two, does President Trump have a case to block his testimony?
We are living in the era of witnesses being called before grand juries when we already know everything they've ever talked about. Like you said, there is a Pence book. There is plenty of information out there. Last summer, the January 6th committee gave us not only information about what happened on January 6th, but testimony from everybody on down the chain of command. I feel like, generally speaking, we have a pretty good bead on anything Pence would say. But you talk about Trump appealing this decision. The odds are slim that he will prevail because courts have generally rejected his privilege arguments, the idea that anything that Pence and Trump talk about is necessarily privileged. On the one hand, privilege does normally attach more strongly to higher-ups, and you don't get much more higher up than the president and the vice president. But on the other hand, Trump has repeatedly tried to expand the notion of privilege to areas that it just doesn't necessarily apply to.
And Danny, if Pence is allowed to testify, I know a source familiar with the matter tells NBC we're not so sure of what the timeline would look like, but what are they hoping to learn? And what do you know of the timeline?
Right. Timelines in cases like this is like no other grand jury situation. And since grand juries are secretive, they will probably purposefully keep that information away from us. But it could be as soon as within a week. It really also depends on logistics. Grand juries and prosecutors will often accommodate people if they have some scheduling issues. They will especially accommodate the former vice president of the United States with any scheduling issues he may have. So these are all leading us towards what will he say. And again, I don't know that we're going to learn anything new from Mike Pence. Even if there is something that he has kept back that we don't know about, it probably won't apply in the context of privilege because for no other reason that Pence and Trump were nowhere near each other on the day of January 6th. Yes, they may have had Oval Office conversations beforehand in which Trump may have said something really silly about what he thought Pence could do. But I rather think, again, I come back to we've already heard it all.
So what's your big takeaway, big thing to watch in terms of the special counsel investigation?
Well, number one, the interesting thing about Pence is that he's made a show of fighting this, but not too hard, putting on a symbolic opposition. But now he's not going to fight it much anymore, which signals to me that he is willing to talk. And he may either have nothing interesting to say about Trump, or maybe he doesn't mind too much that whatever he has to say may be damaging to his future opponent. But in terms of the investigation, the January 6th investigation is something that I keep coming back to this. is there anything left that we don't really know about January 6th? It was maybe the most video and photographed event in American history. So we know what happened on the front line, so to speak. Sorry to be glib, but in terms of what the higher ups said to each other, Trump, Pence, everybody else, we've got a pretty good feel. There could be some bombshell testimony that we don't know about, but I wouldn't be surprised if we weren't surprised about anything.
All right, Danny Swallows, thank you.
Thank you. Turning now to the latest out of Tennessee, where yesterday recently ousted Democratic State Representative Justin Jones was unanimously voted back into his position. That was after he and another lawmaker were expelled for leading a new gun reform protest on the House floor. The fate of the other lawmaker is likely to be decided later this week. NBC News correspondent Katie Beck joins us now from Nashville with the latest.
Well, Representative Justin Jones is feeling hopeful after being reappointed to fill his seat on an interim basis. Yesterday, hundreds gathering at the Tennessee state capitol to try and send a strong message to the Republican leadership who ousted him from office.
A triumphant Justin Jones returning to the Tennessee State House just days after the Republican-led legislature expelled him.
No exposure, no attempt to silence us will stop us. But
hours earlier, the Nashville Metro Council voting unanimously to reappoint Jones back to his seat on an interim basis.
I, Justin Jones.
Jones sworn in on the state capitol steps before re-entering the building surrounded by hundreds of supporters.
There comes a time where time itself is ready for change, and the world is watching because that time has come to Nashville and Tennessee.
His unprecedented removal after Jones and two other Democrats joined protesters on the floor of the State House to call for stricter gun control laws after the deadly school shooting in Nashville. Republicans say the trio broke House rules. Representative Gloria Johnson welcomed her colleague back to the State House Monday, tweeting this photo next to Jones, simply writing, "Justice." Unlike Jones, a motion to oust her on Thursday narrowly failed by just one vote. Johnson says it's because she's white, something Republican lawmakers vehemently deny. On Wednesday, the other ousted representative, Justin Pearson's district in Memphis, is expected to hold a special session to discuss whether he'll be reinstated. The Republican Tennessee House Speaker says he will seat whomever is selected to fill the two spots. A spokesperson for Cameron Sexton telling NBC News those two individuals will be seated as representatives, as the Constitution requires. This morning, Jones says his focus is getting back to work for the people of Nashville.
I was honored to walk into that chamber today and be able to cast a vote for my district and for the people who sent me there to be their voice.
Monday's decision is just the beginning of the road for Jones. Because he was temporarily appointed to fill that seat, he will face a special election in coming months. Additionally, Shelby County commissioners will be deciding the fate of Representative Justin Pearson on Wednesday. If he is reappointed, he too will face a special election. Back to you.
Katie Beck, thanks so much.
Now for a look at how to start your morning with your Morning News Now weather forecast.
Meteorologist Angie Lassman joins us now with more. Good morning, Angie.
Good morning, guys. Most of the country is looking pretty good, but we do have some unsettled weather down through the Gulf Coast and specifically Florida this morning, waking up to some soggy conditions. They've seen plenty of rain over the past day or so, and there's more where that came from. We're going to see a low pressure system that develops in the Gulf of Mexico. We're not expecting it to be tropical, but either way, it still keeps a lot of moisture around and makes it so that we could see some flooding concerns over the next couple of days. So let's see how it plays out. Scattered rain focuses mainly towards portions of southern Louisiana through the day today. By tomorrow, a lot of that starts to work into places like the Florida Panhandle and as well as Mississippi and Louisiana. Then a big push of moisture through parts of southern Florida, where we'll see kind of an ample amount of rain over the next couple of days. That drapes across parts of the southeast here as we get into Thursday, and then we'll finally start to see that pushing out of the picture. But in the meantime, we're expecting plenty of rain. Isolated amounts up to 5 to 8 inches are going to be stretched from places like Miami down through the Florida Keys. We'll see widespread up to about an inch from Mobile, Panama City, Jacksonville, and stretching down into Melbourne. These are some of the areas that already have a whole lot of rain, and the grounds are kind of saturated from the past couple of weeks, so we'll watch for some flooding concerns over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, have you noticed it feels like spring out there in a lot of places? In some spots today, it's going to feel like summer with these temperatures flirting with the mid-80s in Omaha and in Denver. We're running 20, even up to 30 degrees above normal for this time of year. It's going to feel really warm in St. Louis, 78 degrees, kind of shorts and T-shirt, kind of couple of days ahead for a lot of us. This goes into tomorrow as well. Chicago, you'll hit 83 degrees for your high tomorrow. As we get into the weekend, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, it's going to be really nice, mid-80s for New York, both Thursday and Friday. And we'll bring those temperatures down just slightly on Saturday, but it'll still feel pretty good with a high of 77 degrees. Similar story for Washington, D.C. Your high on Thursday, 87 degrees. We're going to be nearing 90 for folks there. So we're kind of flirting with those more summer-like temperatures, but either way, it's going to be fairly warm over the extended period. Now, that comes with a couple of things. We'll see some issues out west over the next 48 hours with rapid snowmelt because of how warm it is. We're looking at some record-breaking temperatures across more than a dozen states, so we'll watch for that to increase that flood risk for places like Elko and Eli. We'll watch for that here as we get at least into the next 2 days. Meanwhile, the low humidity, a little bit of an elevated wind, and those warm temperatures, that leaves us with the potential for some fire risks over the next couple of days. Not a great time to start those open burns. Places like Chicago, Fort Wayne are included in that. And this is going to be something for like Boston and New York, and even out west, Colorado Springs, will see these alerts stay with us at least for the next couple of days. 37 million people are included in that, ladies.
Oh, boy. Some serious weather stuff. At first, I was going to start with like, oh, I'm already sweating. And then I was like, oh, no, there's stuff that comes with the heat. A lot of things to process.
There is. But we got you covered.
All right, good.
You always do. Angie Lassman.
We appreciate it.
And coming up, we're following the latest developments this morning in the shooting of a Virginia teacher by a 6-year-old in her class. The mother of that child has now been indicted, and we're digging into the charges she's facing and what comes next.
Plus, President Biden signs a bill officially ending the national COVID emergency. But what does that mean for you? And is the pandemic really over? That's next. We're back with new details about the 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher in Virginia nearly 3 months ago. His mother is now facing criminal charges. This comes after, the teacher involved in this, who was shot, files a lawsuit against the school district for $40 million. NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer joins us now from Los Angeles with the details. Good morning, Miguel.
Ellison, good morning. That mother, Deja Taylor, is now facing a felony and misdemeanor count after her 6-year-old son shot his teacher. While she plans to turn herself in this week, the Commonwealth's attorney says the case is still open and additional indictments and charges could follow.
Never put up a teacher shot.
More than 3 months after first-grade teacher Abigail Zwerner was shot by her 6-year-old student in class, the mother of that young boy has now been criminally charged. A Newport News grand jury indicting 25-year-old Deja Taylor on 1 count of felony child neglect and 1 misdemeanor count of recklessly leaving a loaded firearm so as to endanger a child.
Who would be prepared for a 6-year-old to bring a loaded weapon onto school?
After authorities announced the 6-year-old would not be charged with a crime, the Commonwealth's attorney said every criminal case is unique in its facts, and these facts support these charges, but our investigation into the shooting continues. Abigail Zwerner speaking exclusively to Savannah last month.
The initial gunshot went through my left hand. The gunshot then went into my chest up here.
The 25-year-old, who says the bullet still remains lodged in her body, is suing school administrators for $40 million, alleging gross negligence. Zwerner said staff failed to act on several warnings that the 6-year-old had a gun.
Everything about this is so unthinkable. I wonder what you think or how you feel about this student.
I just will never forget the look on his face that he gave me while he pointed the gun directly at me. That's something that I will never forget.
The boy's family also said he suffers from an acute disability and that he was under a care plan at the school that includes his parents accompanying him to class every day. But according to a statement from the family, the week of the shooting was the first week when they were not in class with him. Zwerner's civil suit also alleging that the parents did not agree for him to be placed into special education classrooms. Zwerner's attorney says the new indictment addresses one failure, but school leaders are also accountable.
At that point in time, you have a ticking time bomb in the school, and the school failed to do anything about it.
While questions still remain over how the 6-year-old was able to access the gun, the family has said the weapon was secured and they've always been committed to, quote, keeping firearms out of the reach of children. Meanwhile, the school district had no comment on the indictment, but as previously told NBC News, they're working to address safety and security concerns in all of their buildings. Ellison.
McGarrett, thank you so much.
And President Biden signed a Republican-backed bill into law. That bill is the Coronavirus National Emergency Declaration, and it's been instated for more than 3 years.
Yeah, the move comes a month earlier than the administration expected, though a separate public health emergency related to the pandemic will remain in effect until May.
Joining us now to discuss what it all means for everyday life is NBC News medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel. Dr. Patel, good morning. So first, this is really important. Does this declaration mean that COVID is no longer dangerous anymore?
Yeah, good morning. It unfortunately does not mean that everything is done with and that COVID no longer poses an emergency. In fact, the World Health Organization still has their global emergency declaration standing. So we have to continue to monitor what's happening across the world before we can say COVID is completely behind us. But this is a big step in signaling that we're trying to return to some sort of new normal.
Dr. Patel, ending the national emergency, it won't impact the public health emergency. That is set to remain in effect until May 11th. But what will happen once that is no longer in effect? And in terms of this latest move, we were discussing this just a minute ago. What does that mean for people? We were saying, you know, you go to get a COVID-19 test and it's covered, it's free. If you don't have insurance moving forward, are you still going to be able to access some of those resources?
Yeah, Ellison, you hit the nail on the head. It's really centers around testing, treatments, and vaccines. Vaccines are going to be covered, especially because they're considered a preventive service. The CDC has weighed in on this, but testing and treatments will become subject, and any of the doctors and physician clinical services around those testing or treatments could be subject to copays. And to your point, right now we have in place, because of the public health emergency, 8 free over-the-counter tests per covered individual per month. The reason I say that is because as we're winding down in a couple of weeks, this may be your last month to get those 8 free tests and be able to keep them so that you can check to see if you have COVID, if you're high risk, or if you have symptoms. So I think these are the kinds of practical things that we might see an abrupt change to. And if you're uninsured, you certainly are not going to have that guaranteed resource or access, although the government is trying to put into place programs that could get people those services, but you can't count on them.
And that's what we call news you can use. Get those free tests while you can. And Dr. Patel, obviously, COVID is not gone right now. The World Health Organization is monitoring a new strain of COVID that's been detected in 20 countries and is also causing a surge in India. So how exactly will the end of our national emergency impact how we handle new COVID strains or surges?
Yeah, it certainly seems like one important development that the White House announced this week was $5 billion for the next generation of COVID vaccines. With that announcement, we hope that we can see a development of a vaccine that doesn't react to whatever the latest strain is months later, but could be proactive in really preventing even the transmission because of these highly infectious variants like XBB 1.116, which is a mouthful, which is what we're seeing surging in India right now. So I think there are some very significant attempts by both the administration and by world scientists to make sure that we can stay ahead of these things. What we have to look for are hospitalization rates and death rates to really change in a dramatic way. We still have people hospitalized and dying from COVID, but it's settled into a pattern that is not as significant as previous surges. We're going to have to watch for changes in that worldwide and in the United States.
Definitely going to be watching it closely. Dr. Kavita Patel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now to some international headlines. A deadly bus crash in Peru has left dozens of people injured.
So let's bring back NBC News Tehran bureau chief and correspondent Ali Arouzi for this and more news around the world. Ali, good morning.
Good morning, guys. That's right. A double-decker bus in Peru carrying at least 76 people has crashed and turned over in a ravine, killing at least 10 people and injuring dozens more. Emergency crews work to rescue people from the mangled bus, getting at least 12 of the 25 injured survivors to nearby hospitals. The Italian Coast Guard is carrying out 2 large-scale operations to rescue around 1,200 migrants from 2 overcrowded boats off the Sicilian coast. One fishing boat is carrying around 800 people, while another has about 400 on board. The country's Coast Guard has rescued about 2,000 people in operation since Friday as migrant arrivals in Italy rise sharply. And finally, for those who like to dine with fine tableware, a delicate Chinese bowl measuring just 4.5 inches has gone under the hammer at Sotheby's auction house in Hong Kong for an eye-watering $25.3 million. Described as highly important, it hails from a rare group of ceramics decorated at the imperial workshops in Beijing in the 18th century. Quite a cup to have your tea from.
I was going to say, small price to pay, easy. We'll just swap it out.
Nope, no problem there. All right, Allie, thank you so much.
Thank you. And coming up, a new warning this morning about the environment. Coral reefs are dying off at an alarming rate, and it could have an impact on the world economies.
But one scientist might have a way to fix it. Up next, we're getting an up-close look at her plan in action and the billionaire backer helping to fund her efforts. Right, coral reefs, they are essential to the world economy, but they're actually dying very quickly due to climate change.
And now one billionaire is investing in unique man-made reefs that could help solve the problem. CNBC senior climate correspondent Diana Olick joins us now with her continuing series on the rising risks from climate change. Diana.
Yeah, you know, we think of coral reefs as these beautiful playgrounds for fish, but not only do they feed that ecosystem, they also protect communities from increasingly extreme storm surge. And that's why the race is on to reconstruct them. They are majestic and beautiful and critical to the world economy. Coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea, support roughly 25% of all known marine species. The total economic value of coral reef services for the United States alone, including fisheries, tourism, and coastal resilience, is over $3.4 billion annually. That includes $1.8 billion in flood protection benefits from averting damage to property and economic activity. The annual value of U.S. commercial and recreational fisheries dependent on coral reefs is $100 million each.
Coral reefs are one of the most important ecosystems on the planet.
Marine scientist Dr. Deborah Brosnan has been studying coral reefs globally for more than 25 years, with a specific focus on the Caribbean.
Coral reefs are at risk, and the prognosis for losing more is high. So right now, today, we lose more coral reefs in a day than we can restore in a decade.
So she's not trying to restore damaged reefs, but rather replace them with man-made reefs designed to be far more resilient to climate change.
We came up with the technology to figure out the shape that a reef should be, the size that the reef should be, in order to promote biodiversity and to protect the coastline.
This fall, the first project was installed off the coasts of Antigua and Barbuda. The reefs are made of a pH-neutral concrete, calcium carbonate, which mimics the natural makeup of reefs. It's a dead skeleton, but then the team attaches live corals grown in a nursery, 300 of them from 3 different species. Fish then move in. Not easy and not cheap.
Oh, look at that boat. How exciting that is, huh?
But Brosnan found a billionaire backer.
It's my way of paying a little bit of rent for being here on the planet Earth.
John Paul DeJoria, founder of Paul Mitchell Hair Products and Patron Spirits, is funding the first project, which costs about $1 million. DeJoria has a real estate project on Barbuda.
I'm doing with the Discovery Land Project a $1 billion project of fine, beautiful homes. Incredible. It's a big project. Now, the people that are very wealthy people, and they love the fact that we're bringing the people, everybody's getting a good job, making good money, and that we're bringing the reefs back. It enhances more people to get involved and buy land and contribute to the project.
And bringing the reefs back could offset much wider global economic risks to tourism, valuable fisheries, and coastal protection.
Well, this is doable in the region, it is doable globally. What we need is the investment in the technology and the recognition that there is a return on that investment in terms of our own health, our own safety on the coast, and the livelihood of at least 1 billion people on the planet.
And of course, fish from the Caribbean are exported globally. So Brosnan and DeJoria intend to build a facility on Barbuda to manufacture these reefs, which could then be installed anywhere around the world. Back to you guys.
Diana, thank you so much.
And coming up, looking to make their resumes shine, some are turning to artificial intelligence.
But can AI-generated resume really put you a step ahead? We're talking to an expert about the promise and peril of using it in your job search. Now to some money news. Alibaba is going up against ChatGPT, recently unveiling their own generative AI.
So let's bring back CNBC Markets reporter Pippa Stevens for this and more. Pippa, good morning.
Hello again. Well, Alibaba is unveiling its generative AI, or its version of the technology that powers ChatGPT. The Chinese e-commerce giant says the bot will be integrated into all of its apps in the near future. It's called Tongyi Quanwei, which roughly translates to truth from 1,000 questions. In a demonstration today, it wrote letters, planned travel itineraries, and advised shoppers on the types of makeup to buy. Global interest in generative AI has surged since the release of ChatGPT late last year. The Washington Commanders have agreed to pay $625,000 to settle a lawsuit over deposits for season tickets. The suit, filed by the Attorney General in the District of Columbia, alleges the NFL team kept fans' money for years after ticket contracts expired, and in some cases made it hard to reclaim that money. The Commanders previously settled with the state of Maryland on season ticket holder deposits. And the FBI is warning people not to use free charging stations in airports, hotels, or shopping centers. Authorities say hackers have figured out ways to use public USB ports to put malware and tracking software on devices, or what's being called juice jacking. Few cases have been reported in recent years, and cybersecurity experts say it's a difficult attack for hackers to pull off. But if successful, it could give them unfettered access to your phone or laptop as they charge. There's your PSA warning for today.
I'm glad it's rare, but it's good to be aware.
And it rhymed. Glad it's rare, good to be aware. We'd love to see it. PSA.
I was an English major, as we were discussing.
Indeed, and it shows. Pippa Stevens, thank you. And April is Autism Awareness Month, and autism diagnosis can really impact so many facets of a person's life. Now, one company is working on revolutionizing just how quickly doctors can confirm that diagnosis. NBC News correspondent Blaine Alexander joined us now from Atlanta, Georgia, to dig in. Blaine, good morning.
Well, Clay, good morning to you. Yeah, this truly is a worry for so many parents. Right now, wait times for an autism diagnosis can be as long as 3 years. That means a delay in treatment, which could have a lasting impact on development. That's why for so many parents, the biggest difficulty is not just the diagnosis itself, but the long journey to get there.
Cheese! There's just something about 4-year-old Francisco Fernandez that immediately draws you in. Today, he is thriving like any kid his age. Dad. But getting here has been a tough road.
Francisco, he's very unique. He has a lot of amazing things going for him. There are also a lot of challenges that he has.
From the time he was 1 year old, Janeka had a feeling her son might have autism. But to get help, Francisco would need an official diagnosis. Turns out, just getting an appointment was nearly impossible.
We were on easily about 3 or 4 wait lists.
And that's just to get an appointment, an evaluation.
Yes.
Before Janeka knew it, 2 years had passed. Still, no diagnosis.
Was it at times a feeling of hopelessness?
It was. It didn't matter how many times we called. Did someone cancel? Did we move up on the wait list?
She is far from alone. According to the CDC, 1 in 36 children has autism. To get a diagnosis, children must be evaluated by a specially trained pediatrician or psychologist, which can take hours to complete. Dr. Wendy Ross, the director of Jefferson Health's Autism Center, says a national shortage of providers means tens of thousands of children are left waiting each year.
Some people wait upwards of 3 years to get an autism diagnosis.
That can lead to a delay in treatment, something Dr. Ross calls deeply concerning.
When children are younger, their brains have more neuroplasticity, so the interventions they get at that point generally are hugely impactful. So when you miss those developmental windows, a lot of time is lost.
And so if you have to wait months, even years, that could have a lasting impact.
That can have extremely long-lasting impact.
Janeka worried that critical window for help was closing for her son. But then she saw a Facebook ad for As You Are, a company offering virtual autism evaluations. On a whim, she signed up.
It was actually the best decision that I have made in my life.
As You Are is a relatively new company created during the COVID-19 pandemic by 30-year-old Kayla Wagner.
I knew the wait time just to see me as a clinician. And so when the pandemic struck, it just got longer and longer. And so I knew that I had to do something.
As You Are uses specially trained pediatricians to conduct robust evaluations just like a traditional screening. The only difference, it's all virtual. Several studies have found doctors can reliably identify autism through telehealth evaluations, with the exception of children with more subtle symptoms for whom an in-person evaluation may still be necessary. Janeka says after years of waiting, by doing virtual screening, it took just weeks for Francisco to be seen. Now, with an official diagnosis in hand, Francisco is finally eligible for the therapy he needs.
I'm sorry.
It's why remembering that first appointment still brings tears to his mother's eyes.
When you think back on that moment as his mother, did you finally feel some hope?
Yes. I felt like I was being heard. It was a really powerful moment for me.
That's such a relief for so many parents to finally have those answers. Now, currently, As You Are is operating in about 10 states, but they are quickly growing, and they hope to be operational for families in all 50 states by the end of the year. And it doesn't just end at a diagnosis, guys. They're offering what they call care sidekicks, basically somebody who walks with that family through things like insurance coverage or finding services in their area, basically somebody to stick through with that family throughout this entire journey. Guys, back to you.
Such an important story and such an important resource for so many families. Blaine Alexander, thank you.
We've been reporting about the revolution of artificial intelligence and the concerns people have as the technology continues to advance and become more widely used.
But now job seekers are using popular chatbots like ChatGPT, trying to get a competitive advantage over other fellow job applicants. For more, we're joined by ZipRecruiter chief economist Julia Polak. Julia, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Great. So I wanted to start us off. Can you explain how job seekers are using apps like ChatGPT? What are the advantages and the pitfalls?
So ChatGPT is the ultimate job search power tool. You can use it to feed in a couple of bullet points about your background and ask it to draft a resume. You can ask it for feedback on that resume and ask it for ways that you can stand out and improve. You can ask it for job search tips, job search strategies. You can ask it to help you do research on the company, on different kinds of jobs, to practice for job interviews. You can even say, hey, be the worst job interviewer. Try to embarrass me. Try to humiliate me. Ask me the toughest interview questions you can. You can use it to practice salary negotiations. I mean, it just can help you in so many different ways.
So, Julia, just last month, NBC News reported that employers are posting more job openings using AI tools. So how exactly does that help companies looking for candidates? And can job seekers also use those tools?
Well, so often employers are not really very good at writing job descriptions and writing job postings. And so I'm glad that more employers are saying, hey, ChatGPT, can you help me write a good job description for this role? And, you know, feeding it sort of the information that it needs in plain language and coming up with a clear bulleted list of tasks and responsibilities. So this is great for job seekers because of the way employers are using it too. We're also seeing job postings that are looking for candidates who can use ChatGPT and figure out ways to make it useful for the company. And then companies are also using it in their assessments. I just saw a job posting that says, write a story that would delight a 7-year-old using ChatGPT and show us the prompt you used.
Love that. So fascinating.
Yeah.
Developing very fast. And
Yes.
Julia, I wonder, what advice would you give to someone currently in the market for a new job?
Sure. So I would say, use ChatGPT as a friend, pretend that it is another person, have a conversation with it. What kinds of roles would you recommend? Okay, no, I don't really like that so much. Come up with some other ones. You can have this running conversation, this back and forth. What if I were to apply for this kind of job? Which skills would I need to get? If I'm in an interview for this job, what are some things I can do to stand out? The best thing you can do also is have ChatGPT help you write an elevator speech, a really compelling 30-second introduction that builds instant connection and explains why you'd be a great fit for this job. We find time and again when candidates are asked, tell us about yourself, they give us a sort of deer in the headlights stare. It's a very tough question for people to answer, but ChatGPT can help you nail it.
All right, Julia, good advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And staying with technology news, some lawmakers are working to minimize the data tech companies are allowed to keep in order to protect Americans seeking abortion care. NBC's Ali Vitale shows us how our data is being collected on the devices we frequently use.
Data privacy is becoming the newest front line of the digital abortion battle. And today, we're doing an experiment.
We're going to plug in just clinics?
Yeah, so we're going to actually route to the Planned Parenthood clinic in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
We're just searching for this clinic on our Google Maps application on our iPhone, and then we're just going to route there, in the directions. We're just going to start our journey.
The journey, 15 minutes through D.C., isn't really our destination, though.
So we made it.
Yeah, we made it. We're here. So now we're going to go in and see what data was actually collected on our trip.
As expected, search data in Google Maps was retained and is for months. But Google previously promised that location history, which tracks actual travel from point A to point B when activated by a user, should be erased quickly. In our case, the data was still there days later, possibly because we only stayed for a few minutes. But these results would have big implications in states with new restrictions for both people seeking abortion care and the people helping them get one, even if it's just an Uber ride to the clinic. It's why fears are growing around the risk of digital footprints, from maps to fertility trackers to even social media messages being used to prosecute people seeking abortions in the post-Roe era. Privacy and abortion advocates now sounding the alarm to get ahead of possible prosecutions, which is where our experiment, done on 3 different phones, comes in.
Earlier today, we searched directions to Planned Parenthood, and you can see
and that was right when we left, 1:30.
We know that this data gets stored by default for 18 months on this phone.
Once it's stored, concerns it could be subpoenaed.
So I guess in theory, they can't prove that you were there by that, but they can prove that you tried to go.
Exactly.
Google told NBC privacy is a top priority, adding that the company has a track record of challenging overly broad or inappropriate law enforcement demands. Users can delete stored data themselves, too. Still, these possible scenarios prompting some, like California Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, to try to set national standards.
None of the privacy laws that we have in place right now are fit for this post-Roe moment.
Her bill would set a federal standard minimizing the amount and kind of data tech companies are allowed to keep.
So it's a digital breadcrumb that then they could subpoena and say, look, there was an Uber, you went to this location area.
Exactly. And they can subpoena your medical records.
Your digital footprint is also in play online. Important now as access to the so-called abortion pill is in flux, too.
Let's say you're a person and you are worried about access being revoked, so you order a bunch of mifepristone off one of these medication abortion websites.
Preemptively.
Preemptively, yes. And then later you decide to get pregnant and you have a miscarriage. Well, all they might need to be able to prosecute you under abortion laws is the fact that you at one time purchased this medication.
In the meantime, Accountable Tech, where Adithi works, says this isn't just about reproductive access.
Google is collecting data about us, like the location history data that we're talking about, the search query data, is really just the tip of the iceberg. Really, they're collecting data about all aspects of our lives.
Our thanks to Ali Vitale for that report. And while it's unlikely these types of bills will pass through Congress, Democrats are likely to continue pushing for legislation despite Republicans being in control of the House of Representatives.
Coming up, a masterful performance by one of golf's rising stars.
His stunning finish at Augusta and the words he'll never forget that helped inspire him along the way. Welcome back. We've got today's Good Talker. This morning, everyone around the water cooler is going to be talking about the results from last night's WNBA draft. Villanova forward Maddie Siegrist, who had a record-setting season this year, will play for the Dallas Wings. Siegrist was drafted as the #3 overall pick, standing tall on her legacy as Villanova's all-time leading scorer for both men and women's programs. And South Carolina's Aaliyah Boston was the #1 pick, selected by the Indiana Fever. She was one of 5 South Carolina players selected in last night's draft. Ellison, women's basketball is where it's at. The NCAA had some of the highest ratings they've ever seen. So.
I know, those ratings were crazy, and it's so exciting to see what these women will do with the sport moving forward. I know Aaliyah Boston already has a big Under Armour contract. I think a shoe coming out soon.
Yep.
Really cool.
Exciting stuff.
Play.
Thanks.
All right, we end this hour with a rising star, a 23-year-old who not only competed at the Masters, but also outplayed some of the best golfers in the world. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk has the story.
Sometimes the significance of a moment can be lost on the young, but not this moment. The magic of a standing ovation at the Masters on a Sunday was not lost on amateur Sam Bennett. The Texas A&M senior was greeted by his mother to celebrate a remarkable 16th place finish for someone his age at Augusta National, one of the most difficult golf courses in the world.
I haven't had kids yet, so that walk-up 18 was definitely the coolest experience of my life.
Bennett stunned golf fans with his first 2 rounds of the tournament, shooting back-to-back 68s. Not just making the cut, the second best start for an amateur in Masters history. At the end of the day on Friday, he was alone in 3rd place, paired up in the final rounds with pro golfer Jon Rahm, who went on to win the whole thing.
If you had told me I was going to be here when I was a kid, I would have thought you were crazy.
For inspiration, Bennett has a tattoo, words from his father who died of early onset Alzheimer's in 2021. Don't wait to do something, it says. Right there on his left arm every time he swings. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Moving report. Well, that does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.